Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning. This is the time set for the 5 a.m. calendar on January 22nd, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA fingerprints that were given on the first calendar this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you each one at a time to the podium, and I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair right outside of this room. If we could start with Mr. Brown to the podium and Mr. Hernandez to the chair. Brown? Where's Brown? No, there's only one Hernandez. For Francisco Hernandez. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
I do not understand.
Sir, can I please get your name and date of birth?
I do not understand.
Do you need an interpreter?
I do not understand.
Okay, if you'll please take a seat back out there. Francisco Hernandez to the podium. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Francisco Hernandez, 04-1596.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar here for you this morning. We have a new Superior Court case, and it includes 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of shoplifting removal of goods, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found as it relates to the drug paraphernalia and the shoplifting charge. I'm not finding probable cause for the purposes of 1 narcotic drug possession due to the fact that they have not tested the drugs. That does not mean that it is dismissed, and they still may move forward with those charges. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case and give you a couple of hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on January 28th at 8:30, an evidentiary hearing on January 29th at 1:30, and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. Because you are out on another felony release case, you're not eligible for bond on these new charges. The hearing set for January 29th at 1:30 is the time set for you and your attorney to present evidence to the court to determine if bond will be set on your new charges. You have 2 additional cases on the calendar, and it looks like those are both failure to appear ones. Looks like you missed some hearings. I'm going to affirm the attorneys that were previously appointed to represent you in those cases and give you some hearings. You're going to have a status conference on January 28th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30 in your first case. You have a secured appearance bond in that case of $500. In the second case, you're going to have a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30 a.m. and you have a secured appearance bond of $250. I wouldn't recommend posting bond at this time due to the fact that you will be held non-bondable on the new charges. Once you know if bond is going to be set on that case, then you can total up all 3 cases and then post bond. Did you have any questions? Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Emmerich to the podium and Mr. Moore to the chair.
Morning.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Edward Emmerich, T2094.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we have 2 cases on the calendar. The first one is a new Superior Court case, and it does include 1 count of armed robbery with a deadly weapon, a Class 2 felony, and 1 count of obstructing government operations, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings. You're going to have a status conference on January 28th at 8:30. and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If you do post bond, you have written conditions of release. The second case on the calendar is a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. I'm going to appoint counsel in this case as well and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $500 in this case. So between the two cases, it's $50,500. Because it is a secured appearance bond, it does mean you can use a bail bonding company. If you do post bond, you have written conditions of release. It will include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours, no returning to the scene of any alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victims or witnesses, and then ensure you attend those hearings to avoid any future failure to appear warrant and forfeiture of any bonds. Did you have any questions? Okay, just step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Moore to the podium and Mr. Duncan to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Gregory Moore, 10/13/06.
Thank you. And it does look like you're here on a grand jury warrant. It looks like it's for an offense date of January 9th, 2025, and it includes one count of armed robbery, a Class 2 felony, one count of aggravated robbery, a Class 3 felony, and criminal trespass in the third degree, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set an arraignment hearing on January 29th at 8:30 a.m. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000. If you do post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and you need to ensure you attend that hearing to avoid a failure to appear warrant. Did you have any questions? All right, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Duncan to the podium and Mr. Williamson to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Josiah Duncan, 10/28/86.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on a grand jury warrant that was issued for an offense date of September 1st, 2024. And it includes one count of aggravated DUI with a passenger under 15, a Class 6 felony, one count of aggravated DUI with a BAC of .08 with a passenger under 15, a Class 6 felony, and one count of aggravated DUI with a BAC over .15 with a passenger under 15, a Class 6 felony. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set an arraignment hearing on January 29th at 8:30 a.m. In this case, you have a cash-only appearance bond of $20,000. If you post that bond, you'll be released to pretrial services for alcohol and drug testing, along with written conditions of release. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just step to your left. They'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Williamson to the podium and Mr. Coleman to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Maury Williamson, 12989.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on a grand jury warrant for an offense date of February 27th, 2024. And it does include one count of dangerous drug possession for sale, a Class 2 felony, one count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, one count of possession or use of a weapon in a drug offense, a Class 4 felony, and one count of carrying a deadly weapon and failure to admit, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set an arraignment hearing on January 29th at 8:30 a.m. You have a secured appearance bond of $10,000. If you do post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and you need to ensure you attend that hearing. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, what was the probable cause on that?
So this is a grand jury warrant, meaning all of the information is sealed. Evidence was presented to a grand jury, and they determined that there was probable cause to move forward, but because it's sealed, I do not have access to anything other than what the charges are. When you meet with your attorney, they will be able to provide you additional information as it relates to that.
All right.
Okay. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Coleman to the podium and Ms. Moreno to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Robert Coleman, 1/12/1981.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on a probation violation warrant, and it looks like they've alleged you violated terms 6 and 7 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30 in the morning. You have a secured appearance bond of $7,500. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and it does include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just step to your left. They'll give you your paperwork. Ms. Moreno to the podium and Mr. Valencia to the chair. Good Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Sabrina Rose Moreno, August 8, 2003.
Thank you, ma'am. And it does look like we have 4 cases on the calendar here. The first one is a direct complaint, and it's for an offense date of September 26, 2024, and it includes 1 count of taking contraband into a correctional facility, a Class 2 felony, and 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony. Hold on one moment. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and I'm going to set some hearings for you. You're going to have a status conference January 28th at 8:30, and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so that wasn't mine. I had found it in the shower, and I was going to take it.
So I'm just going to stop you there for a minute. So what I want to let you know is we're not here to find a guilt today, and you are being recorded, and the state will have access to that. And since you don't have an attorney, you have the right to remain silent. You can speak, but again, the state will use this information that you put on the recording today as it relates to moving forward with the trial. So with that being said, did you want to continue with what you were saying?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. You do have a secured appearance bond in that case of $5,000. If you do post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and it does include contacting your probation officer within 24 hours. It looks like you were also on probation in 3 cases at the time this offense took place. And so that's a term 1 violation of your probation. And so I'm going to appoint counsel to represent you, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30 in the morning. And in each of your probation cases, you have a $50 secured appearance bond. So your total bond for the 4 cases is $5,150. Again, you have written conditions of release in each of these cases, and then you need to make sure you attend those hearings. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, just up to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Valencia to the podium, and Mr. Washington to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Alejandro Valencia, May 22nd, 1990.
Thank you. And it does look like you're here on a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30 a.m. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release that do include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, just up to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Washington to the podium, and Ms. Adams to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Dominique Washington, December 20th, 1987.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you have 3 cases on the calendar here. The first one comes in with some new charges out of the Superior Court. 1 count of criminal trespass in the 1st degree, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference on January 28th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $50. It looks like you also have 2 probation violation warrants, and they've alleged you violated terms 6 and 7 of your probation. I'm going to appoint counsel in those cases as well and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in each of your probation cases of $500. You have a total secured appearance bond between the 3 cases of $1,050. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release that include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Your paperwork will include the date and times of your hearings. Did you have any questions? Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Ms. Adams to the podium and Mr. Hernandez to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Ginger Adams, 12/1991.
Thank you, ma'am. And it does look like you're here on a direct complaint that was filed. And it's for an offense date of January 14th, 2025. And it includes 1 count of narcotic drug possession, Class 4 felony, 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a status conference on January 28th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $1,000 in this case. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release, and you need to ensure you attend those hearings. It looks like you were previously seen in this court on January 14th as well, so if you haven't posted those bonds, this $1,000 would be in addition to those. Did you have any questions?
So is this just like adding on to the other cases I have? Or is it like showing up or?
Yeah, it looks like they've added an additional charge to it. So you had narcotic drugs and drug paraphernalia. They've now made the act. So that was just the time of arrest. They've now made the official filing, and they've also added a dangerous
that's what
drug
I was confused about.
Yeah,
So
they added an additional charge.
Okay.
Okay,
Right,
thank you, ma'am. Mr. Hernandez to the podium, and Ms. Landabazo to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth? Your name and date of birth?
David Michael Hernandez, 0515-1975.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 1 and 8 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing. That'll be on January 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $500 in this case. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. It includes contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Did you have any questions?
Well, that's what I did. I went and seen them for self-surrender. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so you self-surrendered on this
I self-surrendered to them at their office.
Okay. So you'll still need to contact them once you're released, and then make sure you attend those that hearing, the probation revocation hearing, to avoid another warrant. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Just step to your left. Ms. Landabazo to the podium and Mr. Nelson to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Irene Landabazo, April 22nd, 1997.
Thank you, ma'am. And it does look like you have 2 cases on the calendar. It looks like you have 2 failure to appear warrants. You missed some hearings. I'm going to affirm the attorneys that were already appointed to represent you and give you a probation revocation hearing on January 29th, 2025 at 8:30. That applies to both of your cases. You have a secured appearance bond of $250 in each case for a total of $500. If you do post that bond, you have written conditions of release you need to comply with, and make sure you attend that hearing to avoid a future failure to appear warrant and forfeiture of any bond you post. Do you have any questions?
So I'm not getting out?
You're not getting released unless you post the bond of $500. Otherwise, you'll remain in custody until your hearing on January 29th.
On the 29th, I most likely have to get out, huh?
I don't know. It'll be up to how it moves forward with your probation revocation, but there is a possibility you could have a disposition that day and you could be released. I just don't know what will happen yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Nelson to the podium and Mr. Soto to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Jeremy Lynn Nelson, 11/30/1970.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you were previously seen on January 16th for some new charges. And because you picked up those new charges and you were on probation in 3 cases, it's a violation of term 1 of your probation in each of those cases. So I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in each of those cases and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30, and that does apply to all 3 of your cases. You do have a secured appearance bond in each of those cases of $50 for a total of $150 for these 3 cases. That would be in addition to any bond that was set at the hearing when you were seen on January 16th. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Soto to the podium and Mr. Bass to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning, Gabriel Alfredo C. Soto, February 28th of 97.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on a University Lakes Justice Court warrant that was issued for you relating to a charge of driving with a suspended license for an offense date of August 29th, 2024. It does look like you failed to appear at a hearing on October 8th, 2024. Are you here on anything else?
No.
Okay. All right, due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you can hire one at your own expense. I'm going to give you an arraignment hearing in the University Lakes Justice Court on February 4th at 8:30 a.m. I am going to release you today on your own recognizance that you're promised to appear at that hearing. Your paperwork is going to include written conditions of release, the date.
He is here on something else. This is the page 2.
Is it for a Superior Court case, or is this a?
Yeah, but he is here on something else.
Okay.
Yes.
And has he been seen by?
Yes.
He was already seen
And does he have a bond on that case?
Yeah, he does.
He does have a bond?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you already have a bond on a different case? They're saying that you were seen by a judge?
I saw one this morning.
Okay, and he or she gave you a bond?
I believe so, yes. It was
Okay. And have you posted that bond yet?
No,
Okay.
because I have a court hearing on the 24th, I believe.
Okay. So then I'm going to have to change this order because if you're already going to be held in custody, I need to do a $50 placeholder bond in order to ensure that you get credit for any time served and that you're available for any hearings. So I'm going to appoint counsel for purposes of the bond only, and then I'm going to set just the $50 secured appearance bond so they'll make you available for your hearing. Which is going to change your hearing date on this case as well.
For both?
If that's the same time and date as your other one, it might be. They may have to end up moving one of those, but you may appear telephonically, and so it may work out, okay?
Okay.
If you'll step to your left, they're going to reprint your paperwork, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Bass to the podium. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Michael Don Bass, 10/12/96.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on a warrant from the state of Colorado. And they have indicated to us that they do want you back. And before you came to court, you should have been given a laminated card. Did you get an opportunity to review that?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, as I stated, you have a warrant out of the state of Colorado, and they said they wanted you back. And so you have a choice to make here today. You have the right to waive your extradition rights, meaning you're saying you're willing to allow Colorado to come pick you up. If you do that, they will have 30 days from tomorrow if you don't have any other pending charges to pick you up. But you will be held non-bondable here in the Maricopa County Jail, giving them an opportunity to come pick you up for those 30 days. In the alternative, I could set a hearing here in Maricopa County, and that hearing would take place on February 3rd, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. And what you would be doing in that case is you would be saying you're not willing to be extradited. You would like the governor from Arizona and Colorado to sign an extradition warrant ordering you to go back. That process takes about 60 to 90 days. And in that case, you would be given a secured appearance bond of $20,000. So with that information, do you know what you would like to do today?
The secured $20,000, is that able to go through a bail's bond
It
as
is.
well?
You can use a bail bonding company to post that bond. If you posted that bond, you would have written conditions of release, and then you would need to make sure you attended that hearing on February 3rd at 1:30. If you don't attend that hearing, the warrant in Colorado would be valid, and you would get a warrant out of Arizona and potentially additional charges for failing to appear.
Okay, I understand. I don't want to waive. I would like to fight it and come back to court and post a bond today.
Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and set that hearing on February 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to set a secured appearance bond of $20,000. The hearing in Maricopa County is civil in nature because it's just the extradition hearing. It's not the charges that are in Colorado. And the point of me telling you that is you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You can hire one, but I won't be appointing counsel for that hearing.
Right, understood.
Okay? Did you have any other questions?
Just to clarify, sorry, this is a lot for me. The meeting on February 3rd would be about what?
So that is going to be in relation to you indicating that you don't want to be extradited back, that you want the governor of Arizona and the governor of Colorado to sign an extradition warrant ordering you to go back.
Okay, and I read something in that within those 60 to 90 days, if I figure the case out by then like if it ends up getting dropped or something on that case and it goes away, or how does that all?
I mean, if you resolve the case in Colorado, they could terminate the outstanding warrant because you wouldn't need to be extradited back anymore.
Yeah.
But if that warrant is outstanding and both governors decide to extradite you, then you would be taken back to Colorado.
In that case, let's say they do decide to both extradite me, would I know ahead of time though, like I would give time to turn myself in or something, or go to Colorado and?
So you'll have your first hearing on February 3rd. They'll set additional hearings, and so you will, we'll know what's going on with the process of the case.
Okay.
There's no guaranteed time. We just give an estimated time frame of 60 to 90 days for that to take place, just so you have an idea of what time frame you're looking at, versus if you were willing to be extradited, it's a little bit shorter, but again, you'd be held non-bondable, so you kind of have to weigh those two options.
No, I definitely want to fight it. Okay. And my only last question is, the reason not fighting or anything, but I missed the court appearance in Colorado because I never knew I had a court date. So how will this mail be sent to the address on file now, or like any updates or anything that I need to know, or anything that's important? So for the Colorado warrant, you would need to contact them as it relates to updating your address. You could update your address with the Superior Court when you go on February 3rd at 1:30. We're going to hand you your paperwork with the date and time for that hearing, so that's going to be your actual notice for that hearing. And then if you don't believe we have the current address here, you probably provided it earlier today, but you can just double check to make sure they have it. Maricopa County minute entries will be mailed to the address you gave us. Okay. But again, we have no way of updating Colorado with that information, so if they don't have the correct information, you would need to contact them directly. Understood.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, just up to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, sir, okay?
To my left over here?
Yeah, if you'll just take a seat out there. Teron Brown to the podium.
What?
Mr. Brown to the podium.
Who's Brown? Oh.
Can I please get your name and date of birth, sir?
I do not understand.
Can you explain to me what it is that you don't understand? Can you explain to me what you don't understand so I can help explain it better for you?
I do not understand.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed with your hearing. I have compared former pictures, and I am going to find that you are Teron Lamel Brown, date of birth November 10th, 1998. You are here on a grand jury warrant for an offense date of November 30th, 2024. It does include one count of kidnapping, apprehension of injury, a Class 2 felony. 3 counts of aggravated assault on a victim that was bound or restricted, a Class 6 felony. 2 counts are threat of intimidating, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of disorderly conduct, fighting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and I'm going to set a hearing in the Superior Court for an arraignment hearing on January 29th at 8:30 and an evidentiary hearing on January 29th at 1:30. You are being held non-bondable tonight, so you will not be released from custody. At your hearing on January 29th at 1:30 in the afternoon is the time set for you and your attorney to present evidence to the court to determine if a bond should be set. If you'll please step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. And then officers, if we can clear the courtroom.
Yes.
Oh, and
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you stand right there? Can I get your name and date of birth?
Franz Hill, Franz G, and 102389.
And what's your last name?
GIL.
Do you have a second last name?
Arreola.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case. And it does include 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a Class 2 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on January 28th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. And Ms. Stetson, I forgot to have you put your appearance on the record, if you don't mind doing that.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
What?
Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
So, sir, we have the state on the line. And so I believe Ms. Stetson is going to give some release condition recommendations. So we're going to go ahead and let her speak now.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is asking for bond to be set in the amount of $250,000 cash. Your Honor, the state is asking for a high cash bond based on the facts alleged in the Form 4, mostly due to the sheer volume of the child sexual abuse material that was located on the suspect's phones. Your Honor, he does not appear to have any other criminal history that the state could find, but given the fact that there were approximately 400 videos of CSAM material, as well as potentially thousands of images of CSAM, the state believes that $250,000 is appropriate, Your Honor. It does also, the Form 4 does also indicate that the suspect does have family in Mexico, and there are concerns about him returning or fleeing to Mexico. So for those reasons, Your Honor, the state would be asking for bond to be set in the amount of $250,000 cash. In regards to conditions of release, the state would be asking for the suspect not to possess any firearms, do not return to the incident location, no electronic monitoring, no contact with minors, no direct or indirect contact with victims, witnesses, or law enforcement, not to consume alcohol or illegal substances, no internet except for work or school, and house arrest and curfew. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, counsel. So I am going to set a cash-only appearance bond of $250,000. If that does get posted, you will be released to pretrial services, and you will have electronic monitoring equipped before you are released. You will also have written conditions of release that will include no contact with any alleged victims or witnesses, no contact with any minors, and you are prohibited from accessing the internet through any electronic means. You will also need to ensure you attend those hearings to avoid any failure to appear warrants. Did you have any questions, sir?
For a phone, for example, to carry for my job, that's gonna be okay? Or
Can you speak a little louder?
for a phone to carry to work, it's gonna be possible?
Sir, what's your first language?
Spanish.
Do you need an interpreter?
I understand very good, but it's difficult for me to speak it.
Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
Okay. And so your question is about your phone?
Yeah, just for carrying to work.
Whether or not you can use your phone for work?
Yeah,
So
that's
you
my
can
question.
use your phone, you just can't access the internet.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, the payments can be more payments.
No, you would have to post the entire $250,000 before you'll be released from custody. So you'll remain in custody if you don't post that bond.
I got no money for that. There's no option for the payments on that?
No, not with the allegations you have here today. The bond would be required in full at the $250,000.
And what happens if I cannot pay it?
Then you'll remain in custody.
For how long?
Well, your next hearing is on January 28th, and you can discuss with your attorney requesting a reduction of that bond.
Okay.
Okay. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Stetson. I believe that concludes all of our involvement this morning. I've got 2 more hearings if you want to hang tight on here, but it's not necessary.
Okay, no, Your Honor, I do. Oh, I can stay on for that one hearing that we had issues with the charge if you want me to.
You're welcome to. It's going to be a house call. So I'm going to put everything on the record, but then the last 2 are house calls.
No, I don't believe that the state needs to stick around.
Okay.
Okay,
thank you so much for appearing this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, case number 17 and 30 will proceed as a house call. Jordan Gorman, date of birth December 3rd, 1990. First case is a new Superior Court case, and it does include 1 count of aggravated assault on a bus driver. Probable cause has been found, and I am appointing counsel to represent the defendant. I'm setting a status conference on January 28th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on January 30th at 8:30. I'm setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. There are written conditions of release if that is posted, and they include not returning to the scene of the crime, no contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or complainants, and contacting his probation officer within 72 hours. He is also on probation, and so it's a Term 1 violation when he was picked up for this new offense. So I'm going to appoint counsel in this case as well and set a probation revocation hearing on January 29th at 8:30 and setting a secured appearance bond of $100. If anything changes after I meet with him, I will update the written record. Case number 19, David Friend, date of birth May 15th, 1982. We are here on a failure to appear bench warrant. I am affirming the counsel that was previously appointed and setting a status conference on January 28th at 9 a.m. In this case, there's a secured appearance bond of $250. If bond is posted, there are written conditions of release that need to be complied with. If anything changes after I meet with him, I will update the written record. We will now stand in recess until the 8 a.m. calendar. And Mel, did you see we'll have to write in the charges?
Yes, I did.